How does Alessio? Hope you're well, and welcome to another crypto update. In this video, we're going to take a look at the charts of three cryptos, three altcoins that could be starting a brand new uptrend. So this should be quite interesting, as I shall explain in this video. Before I begin, though, I just want to first of all make a clarification. You see, guys, yesterday I posted a video that you may have seen by now. As you can see here, trader destroys Alessio in a Bitcoin debate. Now, some of you watched that video and you told me that the title was a bit confusing because you couldn't figure out why I chose the title that I did, that the trader Charlie Burton is destroying me in this video. I think most of you understood that the title was actually a joke. I was just making fun of myself.
Well, aren't you special?
So I think most of you understood that it was a joke. In fact, I pretty much said that it was a joke in the comment section, but I think some of you were confused by it. Some of you were saying, Alessio, what the heck is going on here with this title? You're not getting destroyed in this video. And I think some of you actually were disappointed that I was not getting destroyed in this video. Again, guys, look, I apologize if that title confused you. Again, I was just making fun of myself. Sometimes I just like to poke fun at myself and, have a bit of a laugh at myself. So look, bottom line is, guys, the guy you see here, Charlie Burton, is a good friend of mine. Charlie and I have been friends now for almost a decade. So we've known each other for many years. So I invited Charlie to be in this debate, and essentially it was just a bit of self-deprecating humor. I'm just making fun of myself, saying Alessio got destroyed in this video. All right, guys. And let me also mention, guys, that it was not clickbait. Some of you were saying, oh, Alessio, you're using clickbait. Let me make it very clear, guys. I do not use clickbait in my videos. In fact, please be my guest and look at my previous videos. I choose the title of my videos very carefully. And in fact, all of my videos, whenever I choose a title, they're accurate. Let's be clear what clickbait is. Clickbait is when someone is choosing a title to be deliberately misleading, often with malicious intent. All right, guys. So I just want to make it very clear. I do not do that. I choose the title of my videos very carefully and they're accurate. In fact, please go ahead and just look at my previous videos. Every title that I choose on my videos, they're all accurate. I choose them to reflect what I'm talking about in the video. Now, again, let me just be clear. Yesterday's video, it was just a bit of fun. It was a joke. I was just poking fun at myself. All right, guys. But again, I'm sorry if I confused anybody out there. I apologize, and I'll promise not to choose titles like that in future. All right, guys, thanks very much indeed. And let me just continue now with the main analysis I want to talk about in this video. So what I want to talk about in this video is three charts of cryptos or altcoins that could be starting a brand new uptrend. The first one on my list, believe it or not, is NEO. Now, this is an interesting chart because despite what's happening with Bitcoin right now, so whereas Bitcoin, let me just choose Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin currently is right now resting on that trend line there. As you can see, just holding that trend line quite nicely, as a matter of fact. Again, my primary view, my primary perspective on Bitcoin has not changed. I still think there's a high probability here that Bitcoin may have bottomed, provided we keep above certain key levels that I mentioned in previous videos. But if that's the case, if Bitcoin has potentially bottomed, which is looking quite likely, then I'm interested actually looking at these charts. There are three charts that I find quite interesting here. First one is NEO. By the way, before I continue, let me also make it very clear. There are a tremendous amount of altcoins and cryptos out there. I mean, all you have to do is go on this website called CoinMarketCap. There are literally hundreds and hundreds, a lot of cryptos out there, as you can see here. So let me make it very clear. I want to be absolutely clear about this. By no means is this video supposed to be a commercial or an advert for any of these cryptos or altcoins. As I'm sure you probably understand, there's a strong risk that a lot of the cryptos we're seeing right now could end up being worthless within 5 to 10 years. So again, there's a strong risk warning I'm going to mention here that we truly do not know. We do not know which one of these cryptos is going to be something and which one of them will be nothing or worthless in the future. It's quite likely there's a lot of cryptos right now that could end up being worthless. So again, a strong risk warning and disclaimer. This video is not a recommendation to buy or sell any of the cryptos we're seeing here right now. All right, or the ones I'm going to mention in this video. There's a significant risk of loss attached with all cryptos and altcoins. Now, NEO is interesting because when I talked to one crypto expert about a couple of years ago, he said that NEO is being backed by the Chinese. And again, there's an article here on bitcoinist.com. They're talking about NEO here, and they're talking about how, for example, there was a renewed Chinese interest in trading So there is this connection with NEO and China. Again, as you know, I'm not a fundamentals guy, I'm a technicals guy. From a technical perspective, the chart of NEO looks interesting because why? We've got, take a look. There are three things that I look at when I look at a chart that could be starting a brand new uptrend. The first thing is a market that is hated. I need to see something that is hated in a downtrend. So NEO clearly has been in a strong downtrend for some time. All right. Now, another thing I look at here is divergence, positive divergence. We're seeing positive divergence here, as shown to us by the pro-divergence indicator here. So we're seeing positive divergence, and we're seeing potential bottoming patterns, like a double bottom formation here. As you can see, a double bottom reversal pattern with a strong break above resistance. Resistance was here, as you will see. That was the resistance level. NEO has broken this resistance line above it, and notice what it did. Came back, retested it, and now moving above that level. This is also another bullish sign. So again, let's just recap. On a chart, we need to see a number of things. A market that is hated, in other words, the sentiment has turned against it by the majority of people in a downtrend, and also, again, bottoming reversal patterns like a double bottom or head and shoulders pattern, something like that. Ideally, maybe a pulse signal that is fired, and also something else, break of resistance with positive divergence, as you can see, a positive divergence, all of these things. And one more thing I need to mention here, one more thing I look at is a higher low. So what do I mean by that? Well, we got one low here, and we've got another low here. So that's a higher low. So that's going to be a major support here for NEO. As long as NEO remains above 10, as long as it remains above this 10 level, there may be a chance here for bulls to potentially push it further higher. If it falls below 10, so again, let me just mention this. If NEO falls below 10, forget it. I'm not interested. I'm out.
And therefore the one word is
out.
I'm out.
All right. But as long as NEO holds above this 10 level, there could be a chance for bulls to potentially maybe push it further higher. Now, let me also mention another couple of altcoins I'm watching. EOS, I mentioned EOS before. Now, EOS has not put in a higher low, unless you want to count maybe that low there. We are seeing a double bottom formation with divergence, a higher low maybe. If EOS were to break higher above this resistance, then that would actually make it more clear. I'm not sure if I would call that a higher low yet, but it's something that looks interesting at the moment. The other one I'm looking at here is Monero, Monero XMR, which is also looking quite interesting. Yeah, beginning to look like a possible bottoming formation, maybe. Let's see if we can get further higher. There's another one I'm looking at here, which actually people have asked me to mention this before, which is Tron, TRX. Yeah, actually, Tron is also looking quite interesting. And again, what do we have here? We got a bottoming pattern. Again, what do we have here? Let's just zoom out a little bit and just take a look. We got a chart that is hated, so hated and bearish sentiment in a downtrend. It has been in a downtrend, and now notice we're getting a sort of a head and shoulders bottoming pattern, head and shoulders reversal, break of the neckline or break of resistance here. Let me just draw that one more time. Break of that. I didn't do that very well. Let me just do that one more time. There it is. A break of that resistance there, holding that resistance. If Tron can get above that high, there may be a chance here for the bulls to push it higher. Again, with positive divergence on the low here. That's quite interesting. So Tron is beginning to look interesting. Again, as long as Tron can hold these lows that it made here. If it falls below these lows, then
no, never. So I'm out.
Bears may actually push it further lower, but look, it's holding the support rather nicely. So there's a sort of a bottoming reversal pattern there that is beginning to look quite interesting. Another chart that I'm looking at here, well, let's take a look at ADA, Cardano. Yeah, maybe there's a sort of a double bottom sort of formation here. Again, double bottom pattern. As long as this level holds, and as long as Cardano can protect that low at 35, 0.035, there may be a chance here. Again, positive divergence on these pulse forming here. If this pulse fires to the upside, there may be a chance here. But let's just wait and see. Cardano has to break two resistance levels here, these two resistance levels, to confirm that it could potentially move further higher. Dash, beginning to. It's not looking that strong here. Dash is probably not yet showing signs of a reversal yet. It needs to break several resistance levels here. Okay, so that's really what I want to mention here. Guys, again, just to mention very quickly that this video is not a recommendation to buy or sell any of the cryptos or altcoins I've mentioned here. Again, a strong risk warning that predominantly all the cryptos we're seeing right now could end up being worth nothing or worthless in a few years' time. So we just don't know which of the cryptos we're seeing right now could be worth something or nothing.
I would rather stick my head in the ice cream machine.
All right. Let me also mention that, as you probably know by now, there's a high correlation between altcoins and Bitcoin. So whatever Bitcoin does is going to have an impact on the other cryptos and altcoins out there, just like we saw a few months ago. If Bitcoin moves further higher, then it could drag other altcoins with it. However, we know also there's a strong risk that Bitcoin could fall lower too. Now, my personal perspective still remains bullish on Bitcoin. I still think there's a high probability that Bitcoin may have potentially bottomed here. But again, there's always a risk. There's always a risk that there's a possibility Bitcoin could fall further lower. And if that happens, it could drag down some of the other altcoins down with it. So we need to remember that the risk is always there.